Hey, okay, I'm fresh up out the package. Sign my deal, I pay my dues. Affiliated to this paper, I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life design up like fine art. I'm jumping off just an unfamiliar coordinates. Hopped off the porch like I could touch the sky. Red is not one trillip, the ism. The water out your faucet, look at me flossing. I'm so wavy, I could change the tide. My intuition sense the hatred in your ways. You imitated, forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. You ain't recognized game. I'm from the Bay, okay, I'm versatile and my slang is different. I'm lane switching with the same people that I came up in this thing with. My head swivel, I'm homebound, got a target back on my backside. Cat peeling with the cast iron, better run for it, run before I catch you. Pick it out, ball it, block it, trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life, don't bet it, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing, you do best not to test it. Yeah, you right, real all in my blood supply. Dig it ball up top, finna make a play. I cast a lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. If I say it twice and I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. You know, co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign.
Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It is good to see each and every one of you. If you guys can hear me okay and everything is looking good on the screen, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who's in the building early. All right, shout out to my man Cameron Jones. What's good with it, bro? We got Brooklyn Queen in the building. What's good with it? Make sure you guys do exactly what Brooklyn Queen is saying right there. Shout out to my man Carlton Way. What's good with it, bro? We got Rosemary Gabbard in the building. Shout out to Rosemary. My man AW1 is in the house. What's good with the AW? We got Janesta Coleman. Shout out to Janesta. I appreciate you. It is good to see you. I hope everything been doing good for you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Janesta. I definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all show Janesta some love for funding the organization. Arle.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
And shout out to Brooklyn Queen for funding the organization. I appreciate you, Brooklyn Queen. You already know this, though. Make sure y'all show Brooklyn Queen some love, throw some flames, some radiation emoji, some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen for funding the organization also.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Shout out to you, Brooklyn Queen. Definitely appreciate it. My man Vincent Harper is in the building. Shout out to my man John with the $1,000 membership. Y'all already know that's standing on business for real. That's standing on business for real. That's a paycheck membership, bro. Yo, I appreciate you.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
And shout out to Volvo. Shout out to my man Crew Reality. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Cameron. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show Cameron some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Cameron, for funding the organization. Definitely appreciate you, bro.
Get the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I'm rich, bitch!
All right, and I think that's it, man. I think we got everybody. So, yo, it was a lot of buying opportunities. It was a lot of buying opportunities that happened in the last, 2 weeks. Did everybody get a chance to load up? Hopefully everybody got a chance to load up. I know I definitely did. And I'm still loading up because even though the market looked decent right now, it's still bad. And more than likely, to be honest, it's probably going to be worse. You know what I'm saying? It's been like this forecast of this 50% risk asset, equity asset liquidation that's supposed to happen. So, hopefully it gets worse, right? Hopefully it's gonna get worse. You know what I'm saying? Because we got crypto to buy, man. We got money to get out here. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of money to get out here. So, and then, we got to roast up, the tariff talk and all that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man TD. He got the Terry Time channel. Shout out to TD with the Terry Time channel. It's like it's Terry time out here, man. Let me ask y'all this question, man, because we got to go in on this. Is it just me, or is all of a sudden everybody is a financial expert? Is it just me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been off of the tube for a while, I had to be, I had to do my thing. I had to let y'all watch some other YouTube content. You know what I'm saying? Had to let y'all watch some other YouTube content. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can see what else is out there. You know what I'm saying? And then we come back and reconvene and had a board meeting, right? So we about to have a board meeting tonight. Shout out to my man, Win Loser Rug. What's good with you, bro? Is it just me, or is everybody now a financial expert? Everybody got the advice on what to do during the tariff. Everybody got a horror story about how their 401k went to zero. Listen, I'm going to be the first one to tell you this. I put my YouTube paycheck on it. Didn't nobody's 401k go to zero? How did your 401k go to zero? How? What stock went to zero? Somebody let me know. Give me the name. Give me the ticker symbol. Let's go. What stock went to zero? So if no stock went to zero, how did your 401k go to zero? Gold is at an all-time high, ATH, right? Gold is at an all-time high. Shout out to gold. You know what I'm saying? But we got to talk about this, man. Everybody know about this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's a financial expert, and you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the other. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many, right, shout out to Crew, facts, the same financial experts borrowed $20 from their mama last week and didn't buy no Bitcoin with it. They didn't even spend $5 of it on no Bitcoin, bro. while it was at like 70,000. It just, you know what I'm saying? Now, let me ask you guys this. How many people have seen the Bitcoin adoption levels? During all of this tariff and all of this, people are still buying. They're still buying Bitcoin. They're still buying Ethereum. They're still buying Solana. Not just regular people. You know what I'm saying? Not just regular people. Institutions, businesses, they're all adopting. You know what I'm saying? They all adopting. Shout out to my man, John Guillory. John Guillory said, bro, not going to say any names, but certain YouTubers said people 401ks went to zero was nonsense. Here's my quote. Which one stock went down to zero? You know what I'm saying? What stock went to zero? That's wild, man, that people can just say that. And this is what I'm saying. Do you guys see what I'm saying about how, like, there doesn't have to be any type of factual basis on anything. Anybody can just say anything and boom, it's okay. It's okay. Shout out to my man, Win Loser Rug. Throw some flames in the chat for Win Loser Rug. Just bought some Bitcoin today. Facts. Same here, bro. I was buying all throughout this dip. And honestly, the dip is still on. Even though it looked like the markets is doing better, most people's average purchasing price is probably still higher than what the market is right now. So it's still an opportunity, especially on Ethereum. You know what I'm saying? Right. Shout out to Crew. So all the companies had closeout sales. Right. shout out to everybody watching and smash the like button, hit the bell. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to get some more people in here because maybe we can get somebody to answer this question. What stock went to zero? At least imagine this, right? You guys know how diversified portfolios are. You guys know, I mean, they're very diversified. One of the reasons why they're diversified is to decrease the risk, right? It's to decrease the risk. What investment company, Fidelity, Van Eck, you know what I'm saying, BlackRock, who created a portfolio that went to zero? What company manages that portfolio? Somebody let me know. There's no portfolio that went to zero. None. Think about it. Crypto didn't even go to zero. Didn't know crypto go to zero. What is everybody talking about? Why wasn't your portfolio diversified with gold, which is at an all-time high? You're supposed to diversify. The diversity, equity, and inclusion people clearly don't believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion if they had all the same assets in their portfolio and everything went to zero. But the problem is that nothing went to zero. You know what I'm saying? Nothing went to zero. So how are people getting away with saying this stuff? And why are people believing it? You know what I'm saying? Why are people believing it? Now, we're going to talk about this, right? We're going to get into some things. This is going to be a super stream. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Crew. Crew says even off code Dr. Boyce says the market has never bounced back. It always bounces back. His XRP didn't bounce back. Where's his XRP? You know what I'm saying? Where's Dr. Boyce Watkins' XRP at? If anybody can find or locate those wallets, somebody let me know because I'm just curious. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking for a friend. You know what I'm saying? So crypto markets gain as US dollar drops. We're gonna get into this, right? Like I said, this is about to be a super stream. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's been a while, you know what I'm saying? We got some catching up to do. Might be another while, so we got to, you know what I'm saying? We got to get it out there. Crypto markets gain as US dollar drops. Wholesale inflation cools. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana climbed as the dollar index dropped under 100 for the first time since July of 2023. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many people knew that happened? You hear all about the markets in turmoil. You hear all about the market volatility. But what's interesting about it is that you don't really hear anything about the dollar volatility. You know what I'm saying? Crypto markets rose on Friday following the release of a better than expected producer price index data, which signaled that inflation may be easing. How is that happening? How is that happening? Remember, the markets is toe up from the flow up. Oh, man. Shout out to Cameron. Cameron said, tell Boyce Watkins the market bounced back the way his girl did after she came out the streets with kids like Jenny and Forrest Gump. Damn. Damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie. You know what I'm saying? What happened to you?
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real. Oh, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Again, I just got the one question, man. What happened to the XRP? I'm just curious about it. I hope he still has it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But if he did, you know what I'm saying? You buying all that XRP while it was under $1, you know what I'm saying? It's hopefully be in a good place, right? So now here it says Bitcoin is up 4%. Now, you know, I would hate to have to start, you know, on the Flush Out Gang roster. You know what I'm saying? Remember, shout out to the Discord. We was talking about the Flush Out Gang. I hope, you know what I'm saying, he ain't part of the Flush Out Gang. Because a lot of people got flushed out. What we are looking at right now are pure prices. This is pure. This is economic purity. This is oblivion. This is what Apocalypse is talking about when he says the purity of oblivion, right? We're looking at the market right now in a period of oblivious purity. And the reason why we're looking at the market right now in a period of oblivious purity is because all of the weak hands have been shaken out. They've all been flushed out. They're all circling around the toilet right now, on their way down the drain. They've all been flushed out. So what we're seeing right now is we're seeing how these prices can hold up with only pure investors and pure holders in the market right now, right? And these are averages. So these averages work the same way that anything else works, right? You guys remember like Michael Jordan's rookie year? Michael Jordan had 15 points a game or something like that, right? Then next year he had like 20 points a game. Then the next year he had 30 points a game. Then the next year he had 25 points per game. But one thing that we'll never see again is we'll never see a 15 point per game Michael Jordan ever again. And the reason why is because that was the low. And when he's then scored the 20 points per game, it went up to 30, went back down to 25, the high low now is 20. So we'll never see a 15-point game again. What Bitcoin has shown throughout this tariff turmoil is that it has the ability to maintain pure pricing of between $70,000 and $80,000. So it's not very likely that we'll ever see a $1,500 Bitcoin ever again. It's really not likely that we'll ever see a $15,000 Bitcoin again. We're dealing with pure prices. This is the market in its skeletal form with only pure investors in it right now. These are the people that are buying and holding and people that are not selling. As a result, these prices are the pure prices. These will be the high lows that the bull market ignites from. Higher lows mean higher highs, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Some of these things we won't ever see again. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Yeah, BlackRock is still pissed. They're pissed that we're in the market. Facts. BlackRock wants all the Bitcoin. MicroStrategies wants all the Bitcoin. South Carolina, North Carolina wants all the Bitcoin. United States wants all the Bitcoin. Everybody wants all the Bitcoin. Everybody wants all the Bitcoin. GameStop wants all the Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? McDonald's wants all the Bitcoin. Florida wants all the Bitcoin. All these people want all the Bitcoin. Some people starting to want Ethereum. Some people starting to want the Solana. What happened? You know what I'm saying? Now, we're going to go more into this volatility point and those averages that I was talking about because there's some things that's got to be discussed in terms of that, right? Because you know how it is and you know the people that we around and the people that we deal with. And the first thing that they'll say is, oh, they sitting over there talking about it ain't no volatility in Bitcoin. Nobody said that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody said that. What we're saying is that Bitcoin destroyed the volatility talking point. Let me ask you guys this question. What is people's top 5 reasons for being anti-Bitcoin? Let me know in the comment section. What's the top 5 reasons that people have for being anti-Bitcoin? Let me know what you guys think. So now here it says Bitcoin is up 4% over the past 24 hours and is currently changing hands at around $82,000. Ethereum also rose 4% to $1,561, while XRP increased by 3.1% to $2. Solana surged 10% to $120. Now, let me ask you guys these questions. First question, how many people pay attention to the percentage all-time highs? Let me ask you guys this question. What percentage all-time high is Bitcoin at right now? What percentage of the all-time high is it at? Shout out to Cameron. Cameron said closed-minded. Carlton said you can't touch it. Cameron said believed it was a scam without questioning. Facts. Cruz says it's fake, not regulated, don't understand. Right. Now, what about it's too risky, it's too quote-unquote volatile? How many people have ever heard that talking point? Yeah, shout out to Cameron. 80% of the all-time high. Now, mind you, it's at 80% of the all-time high during a bear market during the lows. Keep that in mind. Which means if we got higher lows, when the bull market comes, we're going to have higher highs. Right? Now, let me ask you guys this question. What other asset currently is at 83% of its all-time high? Is there any other one? If an asset can maintain during a bear market 83% of its all-time high, where is it going during a bull market is my question. Let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, the broader cryptocurrency market capitalization gained 2% to 2.69 trillion, according to CoinGecko. In the past 24 hours, 92,771 traders were liquidated. These are the people that got flushed out, with total liquidations amounting to 222 million. Bitcoin led with 79 million and Ethereum followed with 47 million, according to CoinGlass. Why is that? Because these are the number 1 and 2 coins. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Bitcoin is going to zero. I told you Bitcoin to have more zeros behind it before it goes to zero. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin will have more zeros behind it before it goes to zero. You know? Experts attribute the gains to several factors. Look at this. Including recent macroeconomic data and President Trump's 90-day pause on tariffs, which have boosted investor sentiment. All right. Here's my question. All of the people who are now financial experts who were talking about the tariffs, when you guys were watching those videos that they just pumped out and pumped out and pumped out, did they tell you anything to buy? Did they say, pick up some shares of MicroStrategies? Did they tell you to, buy some Bitcoin while it's, between 70 and 80,000? Did they tell you, $1,500 is a great price for Ethereum? Get you some XRP while it's under $2. Did they tell you any of that? Or did they just tell you how the world is going to end because there's economic turmoil right now? Oh, the world finna end. Another day of tariffs. These are the experts. You know what I'm saying? These are the experts. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said they did not tell me that. Thank goodness you in the Discord. Thank goodness you in the Discord, Carlton. Somebody got the word to you. Brooklyn Queen told you. You know what I'm saying? John Guillory told you. Right? Now, let me ask you guys this question. Why do people want to sit around and drown in tears about tariffs? And how are they financial experts if they don't have no finances? How do you go from you don't have time to deal with this kind of, subject or this type of content or this type of situation to all of a sudden you're an expert about it? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. That makes less sense to me, you know what I'm saying, than investing in Bitcoin. Investing in Bitcoin makes more sense to me than listening to people that don't have a stable record of accuracy or even a stable record of discussion on these type of topics. You know what I'm saying? But, tariffs are trending in the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Tariffs are trending in the algorithm, so the AI will be your friend for now. You know what I'm saying? Producer prices fell more than expected in March, with the PPI down 0.4% month over month, and the core PPI dropping 0.1%, its first decline since July, both below forecast. On an annual basis, inflation also cooled as headline and core PPI rose to 2.7 and 3.3 respectively. All right. How many people was able to cop some Solana when it was under $100? It was momentarily like $95. Is anybody able to get a couple Solana tokens? I think Litecoin is still at a pretty decent price. Anything under $100 is great for Litecoin. When they start passing those Litecoin ETFs and when they start passing those XRP ETFs and those Solana ETFs, price is about to go. They're about to go wild. The cooler than expected PPI combined with Thursday's consumer price index report, which also pointed to cooling inflation, suggests that price pressures across the U.S. economy may be cooling, according to Anthony Anzalone, CEO and founder of Zion. However, markets should approach this positive inflation news with caution, as recently implemented tariffs on April 2nd could potentially reverse this trend. Anzalone told the Defiant. He added that it's difficult to draw any conclusions on the market's reaction to PPI news given other turbulent factors in the market related to recent tariff developments. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. Why do people think that when the market is down, it's a bad time to buy? And why do people get into the market when the market is up? Why does some clown come up to you and tell you, hey, I just bought all this Bitcoin at $100,000? And then the same clown will turn around and tell you, I got scammed. I sold at $70,000. Why would you sell, you know what I'm saying, at $30,000 less? Why would you do that? Why do all these people, I'm going to ape into the market during a bear market? Like, I don't understand that. When it comes, like, these people use the same principles when it comes to grocery shopping, when it comes to clothing shopping, when it comes to car shopping. I'm going to buy the best price. How is it that an investment's best price is the highest price when you're supposed to be making money? So in order to make money, you got to have a wider buy sell spread, not a more narrow one, right? You know what I'm saying? Look at all of the, I want you guys to understand what I'm saying. Your favorite content creators are trying to flush you out. They're trying to flush you out. You shouldn't be getting that type of pressure from people that are supposed to be your quote unquote advocates, your quote unquote representatives. These clowns shouldn't be trying to get you to sell your assets for 50% off. What? So they can buy them up? Why are they fear mongering? Shout out to Carlton. Speaking of FOMO, where my man FOMO Saki at? Yeah, shout out to Win Lose or Rug. Grocery market mindset. Facts. Cameron said the market is usually doing good when we are all hurting and does bad when we do good. Exactly. Shout out to Win Lose or Rug. Win Lose or Rug said when it's going down, the average people always think that it can go lower and that they can get it for cheap, like the grocery market. It's I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. I never will get it. The only thing that we can do is just continue to point and laugh at how incorrect people's investment strategies are and their mindsets. It's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs. In the exchange traded fund space, Bitcoin spot ETFs recorded $150 million in outflows, marking the sixth consecutive day of outflows per social value data. Fidelity's F.B.T.C. led the pack with 74.6 million in redemptions. Grayscale's G.B.T.C. followed with 44.6 million, while funds from ARK, 21 Shares, Bitwise, Invesco, and Franklin Templeton also posted losses. Meanwhile, ETH spot ETFs experienced 39 million in outflows. Fidelity's FETH fund experienced the largest outflows with 36 million. All right. Now, shout out to everybody. Let me ask you guys this question. People that are buying Ethereum and people that are buying Solana, are you staking your Ethereum and staking your Solana? I hope you are. So what we got to do is now we got to travel back in time. Everybody likes time traveling, right? Everybody likes time traveling, right? We're going to travel back in time to 2020. All right. And we're going to take a look at what Van Eck said back in 2020. Now, let me ask you guys this question. You know, it might be some people that were in the cryptocurrency space that might have done videos about this or might have talked about this or might have possibly went over this information. Shout out to Patrick Tyler. What's good with it, bro? But we have to run it back. We got to run it back. As you can see, this article is a Scorpio. November 20th, 2020. Bitcoin, less volatile than many S&P 500 stocks. Let me ask you guys a question. Is this true or is this false? Now, mind you, this was back in 2020, right? This aged like fine wine. You know what I'm saying? This aged like fine wine. You know what I'm saying? Now, where are we at? We in 2025, 5 years into the future. Bitcoin less volatile than many S&P 500 stocks. Van Eck wrote this in a blog to their investors. What do y'all think about that? Shout out to Jay. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to the Informant Media. Aged like good cheese. This aged beautifully. And Bitcoin has destroyed the volatility talking point. It's just destroyed it. So anybody that continues to use the volatility talking point, this is why back in the day we was talking about beta coefficients. How many of you guys remember we was talking about the beta coefficients? It's certain keywords. You know what I'm saying? When y'all listen to content and people talking about the economy and economics, and if they don't use those keywords or if they don't talk about those certain things, I would dig deeper. Some people dumb down their content for the masses. So it may not be, the person is not an expert. They just might be dumbing down their content for the masses. But dig deeper. And if it's somebody that actually understands this kind of stuff and is actually into this kind of stuff, they'll be familiar with all the terminology. They'll definitely have a sidebar conversation with you. If they're not capable of having a sidebar conversation, you already know what time it is. Scrap the project. Right? Scrap the project. Bitcoin is less volatile than many S&P 500 stocks. Now, what does that mean? What that means is that back in 2020, had you invested in Bitcoin, you could possibly invest in Bitcoin to hedge the risk of stock volatility. But wait a minute, though. Everybody is always sitting up there saying, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's always sitting up there saying Bitcoin is too risky. I invest in stock. Look at this article right here from Van Eck, an investment firm that has all the AI analytical tools, analysts, financial engineers doing its data analysis, telling people, hey, it looked like Bitcoin might be less volatile than S&P 500. I don't mess with Bitcoin now because Bitcoin is too risky. I mean, again, the anti-information, anti-reality public of our peers that we have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said, sadly, I don't listen to any Negroes but you and my boy Mile and Arthur Hayes when it comes to crypto. Arthur Hayes, shout out to Arthur Hayes, man. He's highly respected in the crypto space. You know what I'm saying? He's highly respected, and he's been right about a lot of stuff. And it's probably not too many people even know his name. Everybody knows all of the people who are wrong about the crypto space, and they continue to they make the conscious choice to continue listening to those people. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but listen, if you sell poison and people buy it, who should you really be mad at? Should you be mad at the salesman, or should you be mad at the people that's buying it? Or should you even care? Me personally, you ask me, you shouldn't care. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's something that it's just an observational tool that should be cataloged and redeemed at the appropriate times. You know what I'm saying? So this is what Van Eck said back in 2020. Historically, Bitcoin has been discussed in the news and among investors as nascent and volatile outside of the traditional stock and capital markets. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Why would it be discussed in that way? Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said the lift doesn't even know who that is, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah. And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. Bitcoin has been discussed in the news and among investors as a nascent volatile asset outside of the traditional stock and capital markets. Much of the volatility over the past few years can be attributed to sensitivity to a small total market size, regulatory hurdles, and generally limited penetration in mainstream stock and capital markets. While Bitcoin continues to be a volatile asset, it may surprise researchers and investors as to what other major assets have been more volatile than Bitcoin. And again, mind you, this is from 2020. Okay? Now look at this. See these charts? Bitcoin seems less volatile than many S&P 500 stocks. The number of S&P 500 stocks with volatility higher than Bitcoin: 120 in 90-day, 145 in year-to-date, 365-day. Percentages of S&P 500 companies with higher volatility than Bitcoin: 22% in a 90-day, 29% in the year-to-date. Now, here's my question. When people are discussing these things and having, their Bitcoin debates and different things like that, how do you leave this piece of data out? How do you leave this information out? Somebody make it make sense. How do you leave it out? In our long-term study of Bitcoin, we had compared Bitcoin correlations to traditional assets and now see another interesting recent trend with its volatility. In our current volatility research, we compared the 90-day and year-to-date volatility as measured by their daily standard deviation. As of November 13th of 2020, of Bitcoin against the constituents of the S&P 500 index. We found that Bitcoin has exhibited lower volatility than 112 stocks of the S&P 500 in a 90-day period and 145 stocks year to date. Okay? Now, fast forward this model, right? Fast forward this model 5 years. What happens in 5 years is my question. Shout out to my man, AW1. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show AW1 some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for AW1 for standing on business for 11 months. I definitely appreciate you, bro.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
So here's my question. Like, how do you leave this out? Shout out to my man DSB. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said they get their information from YouTubers. Zero on-chain analysis. Facts. So back then, right? Let me ask you guys this question. Do y'all think Michael Saylor took this into consideration when he started his Bitcoin strategy for MicroStrategies? Now, at the time, right? Remember, at the time, it was no such thing as a Bitcoin ETF. So remember, this is old information, right? We all know that, things have changed, right? At the time, in November of 2020, there were no U.S. Bitcoin exchange-traded funds. We believe such products may show similar volatility characteristics based on the comparison above, as many stocks in well-known indices and ETFs, such as the S&P 500 and related products. Fast forward 5 years. What's happened in 5 years? Shout out to my man, Win Lose a Rug. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show Win Lose a Rug some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Win Lose a Rug for standing on business for 17 months. Definitely appreciate you, bro.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Definitely appreciate you. Now look at this. Look at this. All right. This is important. This is important. Fast forward to 2025. And what's the S&P 500 doing? Let me ask you guys this question. What's the S&P 500 doing in 2025? I'll tell you what it's doing. It's being more volatile than Bitcoin. That's what it's doing. From CoinDesk, a lot more articles are showing this as well. S&P 500 more volatile than Bitcoin as U.S. assets lose investor favor. Now, we know that this loss of investor favor, this is only a temporary thing, right? So, people will start buying back into the market, right? But that's not the key thing that we're looking at. What we're looking at is Bitcoin destroying the volatility talking point. Van Eck said it in 2020. We've said it. The day is here. S&P 500 is more volatile than Bitcoin. Let me ask you guys a question. In comparison to a S&P 500 index money market fund versus a Bitcoin, what does that mean? What that means is that Bitcoin can maintain a higher low during turbulent times, which is exhibited by staying between 70 and 80,000, which means that if it can maintain a higher low, sky's the limit from here, right? Shout out to my man Patrick Tyler. Make sure y'all show Patrick Tyler some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Patrick Tyler for funding the organization. Definitely appreciate you, bro.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
So look at that. Now we got the official information. S&P 500 is more volatile than Bitcoin as U.S. assets lose favor. Look at that. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Bro, the S&P and NASDAQ volatility is astronomical right now. Plus 300 plus price swings in less than 30 minutes. Yeah. The volatility is crazy. Look at this. Imagine Bitcoin is more stable than one of the most invested in and watched indexes in the world. I guess now you could call Bitcoin a stable coin. Right? I guess now we could call Bitcoin a stable coin, right? In comparison to the stocks. Now, I want to ask you guys a question because it's important to understand the whys of these kind of things. Why is this happening? I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why it's happening. One of the reasons why it's happening is because the Bitcoin monolith is not selling their Bitcoin. Bitcoiners are on code. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoiners are hodling. So if you're buying the asset and holding it, whales are buying it and holding it, where would the volatility come from? The volatility will come from the small amount of retail investors and individual investors who buy and then sell when they get flushed out. If the majority of people are buying to hold, that majority of people holding, as long as that majority continues to increase, it's going to stabilize the price. Let me ask you guys this question. Do you hear more about MicroStrategies and MetaPlanet and all of these different companies? Are they selling Bitcoin? They all got more Bitcoin than us. Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen, MicroStrategies has more Bitcoin than me. Ooh. Are they selling it? Do you hear news about them selling? No. So we got all these big, giant, mega buyers buying Bitcoin, and they're buying Bitcoin to hold it. If they buy it, hold it long term, does that increase volatility or does that decrease volatility? If we have an expected outcome, then that decreases volatility. If more Bitcoin are held with the common goal of holding long term, that is a known and expected outcome. The outcome is there's 400,000, 500,000 Bitcoin that are not going to be sold. That pushes the volatility down, and it pushes the lower high up. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said 5-minute, 1,000-point rallies on economic data releases. Shit's been wild. Yeah. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Like when it comes to like the algorithm related tariff content, it's all political. It's all political. It's all people that want. I don't like Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, or people that I love Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't have nothing to do with loving or not liking Trump. Is understanding the market. What are people gonna do? Trump levied what 125% tariffs on China. I guarantee you, nobody in this chat went and sold all their Bitcoin. Some people do that kind of wild stuff. That's the stuff that messes up the market. Oh my God, like I see my asset go down 5%. Let me go sell it. Why? I'm buying Bitcoin for $1 million Bitcoin. I don't really care what Trump does in the long term or in the short term. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care what Trump does in the short term. I'm buying Bitcoin for $1 million Bitcoin. I'm buying Ethereum for $50,000 Ethereum. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying XRP for $100 XRP. I'm not selling any of my crypto. Let me ask this. Shout out to everybody watching. How many of y'all selling y'all crypto? If you're selling your crypto, you know what I'm saying? Put a clown face in the chat. If you're not selling your crypto, and I'm not talking about emergencies or something, you know what I'm saying? I understand that, but the intent. If you don't have the intent to sell your crypto for non-emergency situations, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, what's going on here? How does Bitcoin become more stable than the S&P 500, man? Let me ask you guys this question. Does Bitcoin being more stable than the S&P 500 have anything to do with Trump? How could it possibly have anything to do with Trump when Van Eck said that this was the trend back in 2020? What y'all think? S&P 500 more volatile than Bitcoin as U.S. assets lose investor favor. Now, let's ask another question. Why are U.S. assets losing investor favor? Investors move away from U.S. assets, causing a rise in treasury yields and a decline in the dollar index and U.S. stocks. Yeah, I got to agree with Patrick. No. But you know what we deal with. You know what we deal with on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin volatility has decreased compared to the S&P 500, evolving as a low beta play against stocks. All right. Now, when they say a low beta play against stocks, what do that mean? This is from back when we was talking about the beta coefficients. And see, this is what I'm saying. People that's not talking about this stuff in these terms, they're not doing you justice. Remember when we looked up all of those beta coefficients of all the different cryptocurrency? We looked up the beta coefficients of Ripple, looked up the beta coefficient of Ethereum, looked up the beta coefficient of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's volatility has decreased compared to the S&P 500, evolving as a low beta play against stocks. So if you diversify your portfolio and you put Bitcoin in there, the way that Bitcoin is currently performing, why would you put Bitcoin in there? That's why BlackRock says allocate. I think they had said allocate 2%. Now it's like all the way up to allocate 80%. You know what I'm saying? Investors are moving away from U.S. assets, causing a rise in treasury yields and a decline in the dollar index and U.S. stocks. Now, let me ask you guys this question. If the dollar declines, what does that do to the Bitcoin price? The dollar declines. If the dollar declines, that means that there's less purchasing power with the dollar, which means that the dollar can buy less. You're going to need more dollars to buy more. So what does that do to the Bitcoin price? What does that do to the Bitcoin price? This is good. This is great right here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this right here. For years, Wall Street criticized Bitcoin for its volatility. Despite the fact that for years, Van Eck said, hey, Bitcoin is less volatile than the S&P 500. Look at here. Look at here. You know what I'm saying? Look at here. But the situation has dramatically changed as President Trump's aggressive trade policies diminish the appeal of U.S. assets. Since Trump's Liberation Day tariff announcement on April 2nd, the 7-day realized volatility of the S&P 500, Wall Street's benchmark equity index, has surged from an annualized 50% to 169%. Now, listen, shout out to the people that buy Bitcoin, right? Because we got to tell these people that, heavily invest in stock and talk down on Bitcoin. Hey, we invest in Bitcoin because it's more stable than stock. It's more stable than your stock. That's all I got for you. Why you invest in Bitcoin? Because it's more stable than the S&P 500. I thought the stock was the move. Blue chips and Magnificent Seven. I'm telling you, I want you guys to be aware. People would just tell you anything. People would just tell you anything. The tariff war has shown that Bitcoin is less volatile than the S&P 500. The volatility talking point has been destroyed. Let me ask you guys this question. What other Bitcoin talking points remain that are questionable? What other anti-Bitcoin talking points remain that are questionable? That even have a shred of being rooted in reality? The volatility argument is done. It's over with. Bitcoin is outperforming the S&P 500. It's a done deal. That can't be used anymore. Since Trump's Liberation Day tariff announcement on April 2nd, the 7-day realized volatility of the S&P 500, Wall Street's benchmark equity index, has surged from an annualized 50% to 169%, according to data from TradingView. That's the highest level since the coronavirus crash in 2020. Okay. Bitcoin's 7-day realized volatility has doubled to 83%, yet it remains significantly lower than the S&P 500, hinting at the cryptocurrency's possible evolution as a low beta hedge against stocks. The cryptocurrency also looks significantly less volatile than the S&P 500 on a 30-day basis. Now, mind you, Van Eck said this 5 years ago. Van Eck said this people listened to other people instead of listening to Van Eck. Instead of listening to Van Eck. Shout out to Jay. Jay asked a good question. He says, is Bitcoin tied to the dollar? I'm going to let you guys answer that question in the comment section. What y'all think? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, I can't use Bitcoin to get chicks. Actually, that's, people, that's where Bitcoin started out. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin started from the bottom, not here. You know what I'm saying? People was buying ass with Bitcoin for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Back in 2010. Who said that? Didn't Charleston White say that? Charleston White said that? He said you can't buy, you know what I'm saying, any box with Bitcoin. Bitcoin them evolved from buying box. You know what I'm saying? I saw this video. I saw the YouTube short. I've been watching a lot of those classic rap shorts, man. Shout out to that channel, Classic Rap Shorts. Y'all be seeing the classic rap shorts come up on your timeline? I've been watching a lot of the classic rap shorts, and you know what I'm saying? Y'all know 50. I rock with 50. You know what I'm saying? And so, 50, and one of the reasons why I actually rock with 50 is because 50 actually talks about strategic topics, and he talks about moves in the industry. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much just a bunch of stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, there was this one classic rap short where 50 Cent was talking about how, like, when he first became a rapper, Get Rich or Die Trying came out, and he was balling, making all the money, and he had never had any of that money before. So then he was like, I could do whatever I want to do. So he would just do anything. See, like, that's the volatile stage. Like, you just do whatever you want to. Then once he started actually understanding the money, and he saw that he had the influence to be able to not just do anything and do what he actually wanted to, his behavior started to stabilize. You know what I'm saying? He started to move more strategically. And then there would be more value in, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like going to an after party. I'm going to go read my contract. I don't feel like, dealing with these chicks. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go, check out some businesses that I can buy. And I think that, in a way, that type of maturity also evolves the volatility. You know what I'm saying? It can evolve the volatility in a person, and it can evolve the volatility in an asset. People not spending Bitcoin on the things that they were spending Bitcoin on back in 2010. You're not seeing people buying, 50,000 Bitcoin pizzas in 2025. Now you see only, companies that have billions of dollars like MicroStrategies buying 50,000 Bitcoin at a time, because 50,000 Bitcoin nowadays is going to buy you a lot more than a pizza. You know what I'm saying? 50,000 Bitcoin nowadays might buy you a small piece of Italy. You know what I'm saying? So because it's evolved, the purpose and the use case has evolved along with it. You know what I'm saying? It's long-term vision, strategy, understanding the future and where things are going, which a lot of people do not show a competency in. People don't show a competency in that. You know what I'm saying? People show a competency in being able to just talk, but people don't show a competency in really actually putting the pieces together and understanding the direction of where things are going. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says equity markets have experienced a dramatic spike in volatility, surpassing that of Bitcoin, which is currently seeing a decline in volatility. Now, again, I want to ask you guys this question. Two-part question, right? The first part of the question is, why are these equity markets experiencing a spike in volatility? The second question is, why is Bitcoin experiencing a decline in volatility? Why is that happening? Why is that happening, ladies and gentlemen? Is it because of Trump? Is it because of Kamala Harris? You know what I'm saying? What they tell you in those other Trump tariff videos. Everybody is a economy specialist now. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, I see it. That's why I'm buying a $2 XRP. That will be $100. Facts. 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 And there's more people now. Like I said, what we're looking at now is pure pricing. All of the people who are not buying for future prices, they've all been flushed out. See, there's people that are buying for future prices and people that are buying for current profits, right? The people that are buying for current profits have been flushed out. All of the people that are buying for future prices are buying up the flush out. We're buying up the flush out. Shout out to the flush out gang for putting more crypto in our wallets, right? So now here it says, this raises the question, should investors place their trust in assets that are highly susceptible to political influence and human error, or in a mathematical framework and emerging store of value that is resilient to such risks? I mean, this question should really, this should be obvious. The answer to this question should be obvious. This is what it comes down to. So I'm gonna ask you guys this question. I think this is another great question. Should investors place their trust in assets that are highly susceptible to political influence and human error, or in a mathematical framework and emerging store of value that is more resilient to such risks? What should people do? People don't know what to do, but you got every idiot on the block making videos about the economy, and they don't have a dime. They don't have any money invested anywhere. They don't have any stocks invested on Coinbase. They don't have anything invested anywhere. They don't have any training. They've never worked, never had a Series 63, Series 7, not CPAs, not certified fraud examiners, never worked in a finance department of a business, no credible experience to make any of the speculations that they make, but they just sit on YouTube and talk a bunch of nonsense to everybody. And because they've politicized everything, you get people twerking one direction or twerking the other direction. It's really stupid. Everybody was distracted, but it's not like they was paying attention anyway, right? So we can't give them the credit. We can't give any of these people the credit, Carlton. We can't give any of these people the credit of being distracted from Bitcoin prices, because they already confessed and confirmed to us that they're not paying attention to Bitcoin anyway, right? But they was distracted from whatever kind of nonsense that fills their 24 hours, right? During the time that Bitcoin was in the 70,000s and they didn't buy nothing. They was just window shopping. That's what a lot of these investors do. Again, shout out to 50. They just window shopping. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these economy videos, a lot of these finance videos, that a lot of these people that, never really talked about the economy or never talked about finance, they just window shopping too. You know what I'm saying? They just window shopping too. So now here it says investors dump U.S. assets. Think about this, man. Think about how crazy this is. Why would you dump these assets? Shout out to people that got MicroStrategy stock. How many people in here got MicroStrategy stock? If I'm not mistaken, MicroStrategy stock went up 10% today. It outperformed Bitcoin, because that's what MicroStrategy stock does, is outperforms Bitcoin. It's one of the reasons why I buy MicroStrategy stock. Why would you not be buying up these assets right now? When people dump these assets, they should dump them right into your wallet. You should just have your wallet out, like just have a paper bag opened up and just let all the assets just fall right into your wallet. That's what the whales do. Ain't that what the whales do? The S&P 500 has cracked 14% in the last 2 months, largely due to trade war fears that have recently come true. The tech-heavy NASDAQ and Dow Jones Industrial Average have suffered similar losses alongside increased volatility in global equity markets. Risk aversion of such magnitude has historically seen investors park money in treasury notes, which underpin the global financial system, and the US dollar, the global reserve currency. All right, so now we're getting into this deeper discussion of what's going on here. Shout out to Carlton Wade. Carlton said, I was talking to someone about Bitcoin and they responded, but Trump. People have Tourette's syndrome. Shout out to TD Media Group. He recently proved this on a video that he did about Jasmine Crockett, where Jasmine Crockett was saying some really nonsensical and strange things about some Democrat policy that she wanted to pass. And, the people that was at the church, they wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So then all she said was, it was completely unrelated. And then she just busted out, "We ain't picking cotton no more." And then everybody just started cheering. Like, I remember, and again, I've told everybody this, man. Like, it's a large percentage of people that's under MK Ultra mind control. Shout out to Are you surprised? How long we been doing this, Patrick? You know what I'm saying? How long we been doing it? We've been doing this as long as Patrick been cool with SpongeBob. You know what I'm saying? Oh, listen, shout out to my man Win Loser Rug. Shout out to Carlton. Shout out to John Guillory. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. This is what we be saying. Once you see it, you will never unsee it. You will never unsee it. You will never unsee it. You will never unsee it, bro. You know what I'm saying? You start peeling back them layers of reality, you will never unsee it. Quality control, man. 1-to-1 ratio. Monolithium. You know what I'm saying? The black voter monolith. It's real. You know what I'm saying? It's real. You know what I'm saying? Anytime, when people say this kind of stuff, I mean, certain stuff, it sounds good, but reality don't always sound good. The only way to fix reality is to, you know what I'm saying? Like old dirty bastard said, give it to me raw. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like it sugar-coated. Blade said, you know what I'm saying? The world is a sugar-coated topping with another world beneath it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, "I'm done preaching Bitcoin. I feel frustrated like the modern investor." Oh, man, the modern investor, man. Modern investor video be 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying, of articles and talking about like certain things going on in the crypto market, and the other 15 be like the most honest the most honest and pure rant in the world. Like that, it'd be like a VVS clear pure rants. Like the rant be so accurate, you know what I'm saying? It coincides with the content. You know what I'm saying? You can't even get mad at the TMI rants. The TMI rants be so real, man. You know what I'm saying? He be on point with the rant. The rants be more on point than the articles he be reading, for real. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said they got a spell on a lot of ninjas. Listen, it's a lot of different spells going on. You know what I'm saying? The first spell is the mind control, the MK Ultra. The second spell is the spell of people seeing that and then just not saying anything. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people will see that and then literally just deny it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been saying this. You know what I'm saying? And I be having fun with it, man. I be talking, you know what I'm saying? I talk hella shit, laughing, joking, clowning. You know what I'm saying? People don't like that. I mean, like, people don't like that, but at the same time, they don't like the results that they foolishness produces. I don't know what to tell people. You want to be coddled? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't, like, I don't know. People want to get coddled. You know what I'm saying? I told people about Jasmine Crockett a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? When she had that B6 thing. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this chick is a clown. You know what I'm saying? This chick is a clown. Listen, when people aim low, you know what I'm saying? Like when you playing a game of darts and you got a bullseye on the dartboard that's the size of a kitchen table and you hit the bullseye, you're not really impressing nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really impressing nobody. You're supposed to be impressed that she roasted Marjorie Taylor Greene, who Marjorie Taylor Greene sets herself up to get roasted all the time. You're supposed to be impressed by that so that you don't pay attention to the fact that this chick has produced what? A couple vials of insulin? You know what I'm saying? What she produce? Shout out, I think it was Carlton. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton put the article about the investments that Marjorie Taylor Greene did. You know what I'm saying? If Jasmine Crockett was what she is about, what she says she's about, she should react to the investments that Marjorie Taylor Greene did and said, these are investments that y'all should do to improve y'all wealth. But, you know, she didn't do that. She didn't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? Instead, she went on the Breakfast Club and decided to talk about Byron Donalds. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick Tyler. Patrick Tyler said, do you ever listen to YouTuber Runaway Slave? Man, he be funny, but he be hitting correct on the dims. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It's only the amount of YouTubers that I've watched has significantly decreased. At least non-crypto YouTubers. I don't really, for real, I don't even be watching anything outside of crypto too much anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'll be checking out TD's videos, Moxie approved. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really, you know what I'm saying? I don't really mess with any of the other stuff on YouTube, to be honest. It don't, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no offense to the other YouTubers. Actually, some YouTubers can get offended, you know what I'm saying, by that statement. I really could care less. You know what I'm saying? But for real, I don't really be watching a lot of YouTubers. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing there for me. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing there for me. It ain't nothing there for me in the comment section. Like, it just ain't nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick. Facts. Patrick said, Rob said Crockett is no different than Green or Lauren. Yeah. And again, this is what I'm saying. People can't handle that. People can't handle that stuff. They can't handle it. You say this stuff to people, they out, they gone. I don't know what to tell people, man. You know what I'm saying? People easily shattered. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said, same. I gave up on ninjas. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said, ain't no saving ish. Facts. It ain't. That's why I said economics is off-season sports. You know what I'm saying? Like the politics was an off-season sport. The political season is now over. You know what I'm saying? People can't say their idiotic babble about Trump and Biden anymore. Now everybody's now all the broke people, financial experts. You know what I find interesting? All of the reparations people, none of the reparations people are making videos about how a reparations infusion could possibly improve the economy and its volatility right now. Nobody made any videos about that, but they care though. They care. I call BS. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They care about views. They care about views. I mean, why would you not talk about that? It's just dumb. You're just not supposed to do anything. You're just not supposed to be anything. You're just supposed to sit there and be upset about everything and continue to make it so that you can't do anything about being upset. Just saying stuff. You're supposed to sass your way to where you want to be. It's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. It don't work. It haven't worked up until now. But I'll tell you what will work. You know what I'm saying? Investing in cryptocurrency. That'll work. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said, I posted in the Discord. Them fools still stuck on the dims. Yeah, I mean, like, yo, newsflash, they lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, they lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know. This is what I'm saying, too. Like, this is another thing. Like, this is, like, making people relevant. Like, the Democrats lost. You know what I'm saying? They should only be relevant in the fact of whatever type of resistance or rebuttals that they might have to Republicans. But a certain demographic of YouTuber, a certain demographic of people continues to make the Democrats relevant by I'm just going to keep talking. I'm going to keep talking about them because I don't know anything else. I mean, it's bizarre. You know what I'm saying? And people think that's the move. Like, they think that's the flex. Shout out to Carlton. It's a strange flex. You know, it's a lot of strange. It's a lot of strange flex. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like I said, you know, people be dropping off dealing with me because, you know, like I said, like, hey, look, if it's dumb, I'm going to say that shit is dumb. Listen, this is dumb. This is some stupid ass shit. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, other people will fake be on board. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on board with this shit. Like, yeah, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, have fun. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said because they low-key need the Democrats. Bro, facts. It's like the bread and butter. Like, I'm going to keep going back to this because this is what brings the traffic. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, just acknowledge that's what it is. I'm gonna keep talking about this shit to keep my channel alive. You know what I'm saying? When you got a channel that's already dead, you don't worry about your channel being alive. You talk about what you want to. You know what I'm saying? You talk about what you want to, how you want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with a lot of people that are weak. A lot of people that are weak. You know what I'm saying? And they say that they're strong. You know what I'm saying? Not strong at all. People got strong odors and not strong muscles. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, but since last Friday, investors have aggressively dumped treasury notes, driving yields higher, and the dollar index has tanked. Now, again, right? Why do people act like this? People act like this kind of stuff can't happen. People been acting like this kind of stuff, oh, this can't happen. This kind of stuff can't happen. It can happen. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? These are the very reasons that people say not to invest in Bitcoin. Because everything that's going on with the stock market and everything that's going on with the dollar, these are the reasons why people say do not invest in crypto. Do not invest in stocks. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? The so-called benchmark 10-year bond yield has surged by 62 basis points to 4.45 since last Friday, and the dollar index, which tracks the greenback's value against major currencies, has extended its first quarter swoon to 100, the lowest level since late September. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Where are things going from here? Where are things going from here, ladies and gentlemen? Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media. Where are things going from here? Currencies typically appreciate when their national bond yield rises, unless markets are worried about the country's debt situation, in which case investors pull money out of the bond markets, leading to a spike in yields and a concurrent currency depreciation. The Global South witnessed this in 2018. The Global South, aka this is everybody's favorite, you know, they be talking about BRICS all the time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said when crypto takes off to the point where it's literally everywhere, people will claim we made crypto. They got that word from Crypt. Facts. Satoshi Nakamoto had a fro. You know what I'm saying? And he was from Wakanda for real. That's what they're gonna say. And can't forget this one. You cannot forget this one. We was left out. You know what I'm saying? I say go talk to the customer service department. You know what I'm saying? Go talk to your customer service department. So now here it says, yields higher, currency lower is common in EM. We saw this in the UK during the trust debacle, but it is highly abnormal for the US. There are only 4 other episodes in the last 30 years in which the dollar depreciated more than 1.5%, with a 30-year yield up more than 10 BP. Evercore ISI said, according to Wall Street Journal's chief economic correspondent, Nick Tamaros. It reflects evaporating U.S. growth exceptionalism and the reduced attraction at the margin of dollar assets for reserve purposes amid erratic U.S. decision-making, Evercore added. Let me ask you guys this question. How come the anti-Bitcoin people haven't said anything about this? Now look at this. Look what the S&P 500 is trying to do. The S&P 500 sees that they're more volatile than Bitcoin. Now look at this. 1 in 4 S&P 500 firms will hold Bitcoin by 2030. Let me ask you guys this question. What's that going to do to the Bitcoin price? What's that going to do to the Bitcoin price? Look at the editor's choice article. Bitcoin holds 82,000 as US dollar falls to a 3-year low and PPI inflation drops sharply. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. What do you guys got to say? Shout out to Windless Rug. Windless Rug said, I flamed this fool in TD's Terry Time chat, capping about owning Bitcoin. What do you say? What do you say about owning Bitcoin? You know, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? Like, we a small minority, bro. You know, we mess with crypto and we mess with Bitcoin, but you know, everybody else rather be broke. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else rather be poor, like Michael Saylor call them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's wild, man. Like I said, man, it's so much popping in the crypto space right now. It's honestly sad at how disconnected people are from their own, from their own future. And this goes back to the question of Carlton going like this one. This goes back to the question of the custody necessity. Are there some people that need to be custodied because they lack a human ability to make an informed, educated decision? All I say is just look at what you see going on, and based on what you see going on, answer that question. People not really putting forth their best face these days. I don't know if I would even go as far as just to say just these days. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think people are really putting on their best face, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff out here destroying these anti-Bitcoin talking points, and people are still just using the same rebuttals. People are saying the same things. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AW1. Make sure y'all show AW1 some love. And yo, if you're not subscribed on Twitch, make sure you guys go over to Twitch and subscribe. AW1 says, yo, Rob, I see that crypto is your life. Yeah, listen, not only is crypto my life, crypto is going to save my life. Crypto going to, all of those of us here, crypto is going to save our lives. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says 1 in 4 S&P 500 firms will hold Bitcoin by 2030. The crypto advisory says treasury managers would feel pressured to try a Bitcoin strategy for fear of repercussions if they miss out on potential gains. Look at this. So we're going we're moving into an era of institutional FOMO. This is large cap FOMO. Let me ask you guys this question. When this large cap FOMO starts happening, what's about to happen to the Bitcoin price? Yeah, shout out to Patrick. Make sure y'all show Patrick some love. Patrick said, Rob ain't lying. Ninjas will be saying when Bitcoin explodes, we were left out. We were kept out. Yeah, we were kept out of that wealth. No, you weren't kept out of that wealth. You kept yourself out of any information that was talking about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then anybody who speaks against that, anybody who says you weren't kept out of crypto, people will make the excuse, oh, Michael Saylor bought all the Bitcoin. Michael Saylor didn't start buying Bitcoin into what? What was it? What? Like what? 2017 or something like that? He didn't start out with just 400,000 Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? But this is what people will say. And then anybody who speaks against it, you know, it'll be the sassy videos. It'll be the, well, this person is off code and yada, yada, yada. You ask me, you want to talk about somebody being off code, you off code if you ignore, you know what I'm saying, buying assets that's going to help you secure your financial future. So, you know, and then when people decide to just flame you up and roast you because you're sitting there looking broke and dumb with your pockets hanging out and nothing but lint and candy without a wrapper stuck to them, you know what I'm saying? That ain't nobody's problem but yours. And if we choose to roast you and make fun of you, you know what I'm saying, at your lowest moment, because you decided to put yourself at a lowest moment, then that's just what you're gonna get at the time. You just gonna be feeling bad that day because we just gonna open up the can on you. You know what I'm saying? It's not our duty to protect stupidity. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you guys this question. How many of you all feel that it's your duty to protect stupidity? I don't. It's not my duty to protect stupidity. It's my duty, in my opinion, to annihilate stupidity. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, I've been telling people around me to look into it, and they are indifferent to except this one chick who I know bought something. That's what's good. Yeah. Shout out to Win Loser Rug. Win Loser Rug said, man, being on code is not liking Elon or Trump. This shit is goofy. Right. But then at the same time, but then like before Trump became president, you know what I'm saying? It was not liking Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. What you supposed to like? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alonda. What's good with it, Alonda? Like, what are we supposed to like? I don't ask those questions anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've always been an autonomy advocate. I believe that people should do whatever they want to and like whatever they want to. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that people should be as independent as they should be, as they can be. You know what I'm saying? If you see something that you don't have, either try to obtain it or try to build it. And that's not the message that a lot of other people, you know what I'm saying? A lot of other people ain't with that, which is cool. They ain't got to be with it. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says around a quarter of firms, look at this, around a quarter of firms listed on the S&P 500 would have invested in Bitcoin by 2030, with treasury managers fearing they could lose their jobs if they missed out on potential Bitcoin gains, a partner at a tech-focused financial advisory firm said. Now, I'm gonna put this here, right? And I want to show y'all something. How many people heard about GameStop buying, trying to start a Bitcoin strategic reserve? Anybody heard about that? GameStop doing it? Now, look at this. McDonald's is doing it too. Conservative McDonald's shareholders push for Bitcoin treasury plan, but SEC says company can dismiss proposal. So some investors in McDonald's want to push for a Bitcoin treasury plan. Shout out to Alonda. Alonda said, Rob, I got roasted badly I got roasted tonight badly by Jason Black, the business live stream. Listen to the last 10 minutes of it. What happened? What did he say? You the second person. you the second person that said that you got roasted. You know what I'm saying? That's wild. Would you called in on the Zoom or you know what I'm saying? Would you said something in the comment section? You know you ain't allowed to disagree with certain people on YouTube. You're not allowed to do that. Now you just stuck over here. You know what I'm saying? You ain't allowed to disagree with people on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You stuck over here now. Nah, somebody else that comes to my streams had that happen to them too. You know what I'm saying? You ain't allowed to disagree. You're not allowed to have disagreements. You're not allowed to do that. You ain't know? You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's in a good way? Oh, okay. Good. I'm glad it was in a good way. The other person, it wasn't in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said Jason will roast you. Yeah, people roast back too. You know what I'm saying? People roast back. You know what I'm saying? People roast back. See, like, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, YouTube is like high school for real. At least in certain sectors of YouTube, I see. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that's interesting about high school is that bullies and popular kids tend to go hand in hand. Oh, you was talking to him about your girls trip. You know, people always think that it'd be all kind of stuff going on quote unquote girls trips. That's probably why he said something. You know what I'm saying? People got this expectation, like if it's a girls trip, it's just you know what I'm saying? People just they just getting waxed. You know what I'm saying? They just frivolously getting waxed. So he probably, you know what I'm saying? He probably was like, "Oh, is that what you was doing?" You know what I'm saying? But for real though, man, YouTube is just like high school. So if you're not cool with the popular kids or the popular kids don't like you or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They justify bullying. You know what I'm saying? And then when somebody like be like, you know what, I'm tired of getting bullied, and the bully come over there and bully the wrong person and come back, you know what I'm saying, with a bunch of blood dripping down their nose. Even if you the unpopular kid and this dude that you just, you know what I'm saying, split is the bully, people still don't like you. They still don't like you because now you done beat up somebody that they look up to. Even though they got bullied by this person too. You know what I'm saying? You said something to him about the girls trip and he was cracking jokes. Yeah, I'm telling you, the moment people mention the girls trip, people's minds all the time, they be thinking it'd be some wild stuff going on the girls trip. I ain't never been on a girls trip. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say what be going on. I know it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what going on a girls trip. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been on one. You know what I'm saying? But people be having their little, you know, ideas or what they think going on a girl trip. I don't know what going on a girl trip. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alonda. Alonda said, I put you and Jason in the same sentence because y'all both are articulate. Look, you should put us in the same sentence because we both YouTubers. We both YouTubers. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. That's where the similarities end. You know what I'm saying? That's where the similarities end. But anywho, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, conservative McDonald's shareholders push for Bitcoin treasury plan, but SEC says the company can dismiss the proposal. Now, let me ask you guys this question. What you think is going to happen if McDonald's start investing in Bitcoin? Now, see, and then, you know, like on YouTube, like I said, it's a lot like high school. Shout out to Alonda. Alonda said, I would love to hear you two have a conversation. I ain't trying to be funny, but that will probably never happen, to be honest. And honestly, for real, like, I'm going to be 100%. It ain't really nothing for us to discuss, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to be funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some people that I would actually like to have a conversation with, people that I have stuff in common with, people that, I think would have a good discussion. I ain't never really been, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, he do his thing and, you know what I'm saying? His thing is cool, but it ain't really nothing for us to even have a discussion about. Ain't nothing for us to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying that in a disrespectful way. It just, you know what I'm saying? It's I would rather talk to the modern investor. You know what I'm saying? I would rather talk to David Lynn. You know what I'm saying? It ain't, we don't talk about the same type of content. It ain't nothing there for me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, like, I ain't trying to be funny. Like, it's not really a lot of YouTubers that I'm really even interested in interacting with, to be honest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to them. They do their thing. But like most YouTubers, I ain't really interested. You know what I'm saying? Now it's people you know what I'm saying? It's people that's interested. Now look, see, shout out to Alonda. Alonda said if it's about red pill manosphere topics, then yeah, because both of y'all like to roast Fresh and Fit. Now, see, remember, I had said this before. I'm not roasting Fresh and Fit no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with that. You know what I'm saying? Other people can do that. As far as that go, I'm not roasting I'm not saving nobody from Fresh and Fit no more. You know what I'm saying? I ain't nope. No way. You know what I'm saying? Because I was going in on Fresh and Fit back when it wasn't popular to go in on Fresh and Fit, and people, they wasn't having it. They ain't like it. And the reason why they didn't like it was because back then, that's when Kevin Samuels was co-signing them. And now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got them all out of Myron doing his thing. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't doing it no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, other people got it. You know what I'm saying? Other people got it. You know what I'm saying? Now, and I don't even know what's going on with Just Pearly Things. Her channel got demonetized, but even with the Just Pearly Things thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of them red pill, manosphere, and honestly, a lot of them people not red pill, and a lot of them people not even manosphere, but they just get that label because certain people just keep repeating. They keep calling them red pill and manosphere. You know what I'm saying? Like, in most cases, like, if somebody does something and it shows that they're not red pill, then the expectation would be like, this person is not red pill, or like, this is a fake red pill person. But like, nobody ever makes that distinction. Even after someone displays that they're not red pill, people just continue to call them red pill. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AW1. AW1 said, I've always enjoyed you going in on them fools. Yeah, bro. Look, hey, Myron was wilding just a couple of days ago. I seen it. And I said, huh. And I just kept it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Huh. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alonda. Alonda said, if it's about roasting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I think y'all would click. I think we would click like 50 Cent and Ja Rule. You know what I'm saying? I think that we would click like 50 Cent and Ja Rule. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 50. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I think we would click. You know what I'm saying? I think we would click like Murder Inc. and G Unit. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Alonda. Alonda said the only area I think you and Jason disagree is economics and finance. For example, I believe he will agree with your views on cryptocurrency only up to a certain extent. Here go my thing. That's to me, like, that's me personally, right? I'm not out here like telling people they have to invest in cryptocurrency. They got to do this. They got to do that. Me personally, see, like, I think there's a difference. Like, me personally, I used to care. I don't care no more. I don't care what people do no more. You know what I'm saying? Somebody tell me they about to drink bleach, I'm going to hey, enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? But I also don't think that my way is the highway, is the only way either. You know what I'm saying? So I think like just right there, you know what I'm saying, there would be issues. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, you know what I'm saying, like I said, I don't even have an interest. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be people, you know, like people could invite me to talk on they, you know what I'm saying, live stream, stuff like that. Like, really, for real, a lot of people don't really be talking about stuff that I really want to even discuss. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff I really don't want to, I either don't care about, which don't mean that it's not relevant. It's just something that I don't care about, or like I just don't want to discuss it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to discuss it. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said a lot of these red pill manosphere dudes, and I'm talking about the black ones, have switched to going in on blacks. Bro, they always they always did that shit. That's not new. Like, they always did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was saying that for years. Like, if you look at old, like really old videos on my channel, I've been saying that for years. I don't have time to be saying stuff for years and people don't listen to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say some stuff and I'm gonna move on anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really care anymore. Like, yo, this will happen. You know what I'm saying? People ain't got no interest for it. Hey, it is what it is. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, problems, you know, you got Myron going in all the time. Hey, that's what people wanted. They the ones blew him up like that. So that's what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? See, like, I'm going to say something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this must be, the demand was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to make no excuses around something. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, they just got blown up because of the algorithm. No, they didn't get blown up because of the algorithm. They did not get blown up because of the algorithm. They got blown up because they was cool with Kevin Samuels. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Samuels blew up Fresh and Fit. You know what I mean? It wasn't popular to say that back in the day. It wasn't popular to say Kevin Samuels shouldn't go on DJ Vlad. Oh man, they ratioed that video. I had like 1,000 dislikes on that video and like 100 likes. Listen, like way back in the day before Amala Ekanoba or whatever her name was. What was her name? You know, the girl, she with PragerU, she be making the videos. She used to be called the Half Black Conservative. Y'all can look this up. It was one of my first videos on YouTube. I went in on her. This was before she was big, before she had like, you know what I'm saying, 1 million subscribers. Like, she was just saying wild stuff. And I was like, yo, this chick's saying some crazy stuff. And it's crazy. Like, it's not correct. It's a different story if you're saying some stuff and it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying, this sound bad, but it's right. Nah, like, she wasn't even doing that. Like, she was just saying crazy stuff. I went in on her. That was like one of my first videos on YouTube after, you know what I'm saying, me and my brother, you know, after my brother had stopped doing the YouTube and, you know what I'm saying, we switched the channel from what we was doing before to like me just doing what I do now. But like, did nobody care? You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to care about stuff on other people's schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm saying something and I'm saying it right now, people better listen right now. Because when it's over, it's over. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna say it no more. That's why I'm not. I will sit there and watch Fresh and Fit go in. I ain't gonna say nothing. How come you ain't saying, man, I got like 10 videos, man. The hell out of here. Why I ain't saying that? Why ain't you got as many videos as me? You know what I'm saying? And you've been YouTubing as long as me. You know what I'm saying? About Fresh and Fit. So, you know, that's the thing. Shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug. Facts. Win, Lose, or Rug said MF's doing exactly what they want. Yeah, they doing exactly what they, and like I said, I'm all about autonomy. So if you want to, if people want to drive themselves off a cliff, by all means, do it in the most stylish vehicle that you can. Or if you're not into style, you know what I'm saying? You know, do it in a hoopty. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alonda. Alonda said, I guess surviving the suburbs is back because Carmelo Anthony has literally survived the suburbs. Wow. Psh, I ain't even trying to be funny. Everybody gonna be mad at me for saying this. I ain't even paid no attention to that content right there. I've seen it, I've heard it. I've seen, you know, shout out to the people in the Discord. The people in the Discord posted, you know what I'm saying, some information, some videos about it. Everybody else got it. Everybody else got it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alonda. Alonda said, will you do a Surviving the Suburbs episode with Carmelo Anthony out of Frisco, Texas? He literally survived in the suburbs. Here go my thing. Like, I would do a video about that kind of stuff, but no one cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't truly care about that kind of stuff. If people care, like back when I used to make those type of videos, I was under the impression that people care. People have proven to me, you know what I'm saying, that they don't care. We talk about that kind of stuff in the Discord all day long, but like on YouTube, nah. The only reason I'm streaming right now, shout out to the members, is because I owe the members a stream. If it wasn't for the members, I wouldn't even be YouTubing right now. I'd be chilling. I'd be kicking it. I've come to realize that people do not care about anything, and the things that they care about, they get their opinions from other people. And if your commentary or your assessment isn't 100% the exact same as the person or people that those people care about, it don't matter. And see, like me personally, like I'm not about to glaze nobody for a YouTube channel. I'm not about to do that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug. Win, Lose, or Rug said, if you do a video about it, the video about how quick other black people were to say mad negative things about other black people. Yeah. And then I'll tell you another thing, right? All the people that does say, like, so apparently, I guess like some conservatives, like some black conservatives, and I guess Tim Pool, like defended Carmelo Anthony, right? And again, you know, whatever, right? Everybody making videos reacting to them people. So like the fact that those people said it validate how correct you feel in your stance. Like, fuck out of here. That's that shit, like the same shit with like Nick Fuentes. You know what I'm saying? Like Nick Fuentes went in on Jason Whitlock. Man, we've been going in on Jason Whitlock for years. This dude is a clown. You know what I'm saying? It's got a whole pack of Oscar Myers on the back of his neck with a square head. This dude looks like a pot-bellied Lego person doing a podcast. You know what I'm saying? So like his fade looked like an ice cream sandwich sitting on top of a Lego man head with a pot belly. You know what I'm saying? And this dude is sitting up there talking about nothing. Nick Fuentes went in on this dude, and people are celebrating Nick Fuentes. I've never seen, I mean, is all it takes, all you got to do, I could say some shit, and this is the reason why I'm not doing this shit anymore. I could say something until my face turns blue, and it don't matter. But the moment, you know what I'm saying? What's that? Ann Coulter says some shit. The moment a Nick Fuentes says it, that's when it matters. And then people want to sit there and say white supremacy. Why? If you're gonna say white supremacy, then why is it that you get validated when these clowns like Nick Fuentes or Ann Coulter say some shit? Like that shit boggles my mind. Jason Whitlock sitting up there, you know what I'm saying? Just sitting up there fat, greasy, and uneducated, babbling his way through an explanation about Nick Fuentes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like Nick Fuentes, you know what I'm saying? He said some things, you know what I'm saying? And Jason Whitlock talked all the way around the points, like he always does. Now, here go what's funny about it, right? The white conservative channels, they didn't even have to do nothing. They didn't have to shine any light on that topic, on that situation at all. They didn't have to shine no light on that. You know why? Oh, see? See? You know what I'm saying? Nick Fuentes said what we had been saying. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. Nick Fuentes says what you've been saying. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of other stuff that Nick Fuentes say what y'all be saying too. It's not the only thing. We're going to run it down the line. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna run it down the line. We could run it down the line, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could get David Duke, we could get Jared Taylor, we could get Richard Spencer, and we could match up a whole bunch of stuff that they said with people that supposedly support us, and it's the exact same thing that they said. These people, they're all clowns. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, Nick Fuentes is saying the same thing that a lot of them people said, because a lot of them people's ideology is rooted in the Nick Fuentes ideology. So, of course, it's going to sound the same. Hey, my man with the baller drink. Shout out, if you know about the Ace of Spades, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, Alpha Male Pimp Network. Alpha Male Pimp Network said, yo, Rob, just want to drop in and say what's up. Just left the club with 2 baddies, bottles of Ace of Spades. Hey, throw the bottles in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, Rob, off topic, that kid, I Show Speed, saw a video on him, and he's from Ohio, and he got the same accent you got, like when he say car. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I told y'all, man, it's 2 Ohio accents. Like, you either sound like me, you know what I'm saying, or you sound like Busy Bone and Cat Williams and like Dave Chappelle and all them. It's like 2 type of accents. It's like the more Eastern Coast sounding accent, but it's still like Ohio. And then there's like the more Southern sounding, like country type accent, but you still can tell somebody from Ohio. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could tell Cat Williams and Busy Bone, like any of them, you could tell them cats from Ohio just by how they talk. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alonda. I appreciate you, Alonda. Alonda said, if you can Google images, Lauren London, 2006 King magazine, keep scrolling until you see the color yellow. It's a picture of her in the classroom. Who is Lauren London? That name sounds familiar. Shout out to Alonda. Make sure y'all show Alonda some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for Alonda for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
All right, bro. Peace. Good to see you, bro. Who is Lauren London? That name sounds so familiar. Hold on. We got to see this real quick. What was that that I was supposed to look up? Lauren London, 2006 King magazine. King magazine. Hold on real quick. What can I spell? Real quick, if y'all haven't hit the like button, do me a favor, smash that like button. If y'all haven't shared the stream, take a moment, share the stream. Yeah, wait a minute, hold on. Is this it right here? Hold on real quick. My man Jay Bird in the building. What's good with it, bro? Wheezy got her pregnant in 2009. Did she keep the baby? Did she keep it? Hold on. This is it. Yeah, she from the movie ATL. Oh, okay. I didn't know Weezy had got her pregnant though. I did not know Weezy had got her pregnant. Do they hey, do they still make King magazine? I remember King magazine. That's hilarious, man. I remember King magazine. King magazine used to be lit. Oh, that's not the photo? Probably via the internet subscription. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So anyway, McDonald's legal representation sent a letter to the SEC saying that the fast food chain didn't want to discuss a proposal to buy Bitcoin at an upcoming shareholders meeting in May. The SEC agreed that McDonald's was within its rights to avoid discussing the proposal. National Center for Public Policy, a conservative think tank, and McDonald's shareholder had requested that the company consider stockpiling Bitcoin. Now, I want to ask y'all this question, right? Because, you got to all this stuff always gets politicized. So you got to ask this question. I want to ask y'all this question. Let me know what y'all think. Why are conservatives gravitating to cryptocurrency? I think it's kind of strange because a lot of these conservatives, you know what I'm saying? It's not all of them, but it's a lot of them. A lot of them are Christian. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people believe in, you know what I'm saying? A lot of, they'll say anything is the mark of the beast. You know what I'm saying? They say that the cryptocurrency is the cashless society and all that. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this. What's the definition of cashless society? When they say a cashless society, what does that mean? And let me ask y'all this question. Can anyone tell me what the cash was in the Bible? What was the cash in the Bible? What cash were they using in the Old Testament? What cash were they using in the New Testament? What cash were they using in the Torah? What cash was they using in the Quran? Anybody know? What was the cash? What was the currency that they used? What kind of cash? What was Judas was, saying Judas said Jesus cost 30 pieces of silver. That's what, saying. But where's some other currency at? Some other cash in the Bible. So let me ask you this question. Do we have two testaments of the Bible of cashless society? What cash did Adam and Eve use? They used the apple, right? They sold for an apple. So that was the currency back then, right? I mean, help me with this. So this is what I'm saying. What is the definition of a cashless society? Because a lot of these people that are Christian, a lot of these people that are conservative, they keep talking about this mark of the beast, all of this stuff, cashless society. What is a cashless society? Somebody help me out. Is it cash? Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said everything requires Apple Pay. That's hilarious. Let me ask y'all this. At what point would no form of money be necessary? Because again, okay, in the Bible they talk about a cashless society. Cash wasn't invented during the Bible. There was no such thing as cash. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? Judas cashed out Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Right? So what is the cashless? What cashless society can we refer to? All right, Jay, peace, bro. What cashless society can we refer to? Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said it's restaurants and gyms in LA that don't accept cash. Right. I agree. But here's the thing though, right? Like you still have to pay in some form, some shape, form, or fashion, right? You still got to pay. Right. Now, the reason why I keep asking this question is, how can the Bible define the quote unquote pitfalls of a cashless society when every society in the Bible was a cashless society? Shout out to Dwayne. What's good with it, bro? Name me a society in the Bible that utilized cash and also when cash was invented. So what that means is that things still had value, right? And that the value was still determined by a market, or the value was still determined by some form of valuation. It wasn't where like all resources are equal and nothing has value and some central figure determined the value of everything. Right? So I want people to conceptualize this. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said everything was done for meat, wine, grains. Yeah, trade. Sometimes sometimes things would get done, and you know what I'm saying, somebody would give away one of their daughters or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, here, take her. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like back in the Bible days, you know what I'm saying? Like people get mad at this, but it's plenty of stories and plenty of testimony back in the Bible days, right? A lot of times women and a female who could be considered beauty was also used as currency. Here, don't kill us. I'll give you my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Or, here go a peace offering. We're going to merge this kingdom together. Take my daughter. Right? How many stories is it in the Bible like that? Shout out to Patrick. Patrick says they don't mean it. These white Christians. I don't know. Bro, it's a lot of people that are not white Christians that talk about the mark of the beast and the cashless society. Now, what I want to know is, how did a mark on the head or right hand, how did that turn into a computer chip? How did that turn into a computer chip? Who turned it into a computer chip? It's been marks on people before, right? Didn't Cain had a mark on him, right? It wasn't no computer chip, at least according to the Bible, right? It was an actual mark. So how is it that there was no computers, and in Revelation somehow, magically what was talked about in Revelations turned out, okay, well, it's a computer chip that's going to go inside of your head or go inside of your right hand. We're gonna dive into this later. Shout out to AW1. AW1 said, "Yo, Rob, you're the only one that I know that doesn't say pause. That's hilarious. That's because I'm pretty I'm pretty comfortable with myself." You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like the masculinity just be dripping off of me, so I ain't really gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't really gotta reinforce it all like that. You know what I'm saying? You might be thinking, so let me just make sure that, you know what I'm saying, pause. Like, nah, you ain't, nah. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to do that. But for real though, I want to know where all this stuff came from. Help me out, man. Help your boy out. Because we got to talk about this going into the cryptocurrency space. Because the reason why I keep saying this is because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that so many conservatives are interested in cryptocurrency if they believe, allegedly, right, that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is the mark of the beast. But they say everything is the mark of the beast. They tried to say the C19 juice was the beast. Everything is the beast. Everything is the beast. Now think about this, right? The same people say that the C19 juice is the beast. They'll turn around and go get a blood transfusion tomorrow. Now, it definitely does say something in the Bible about blood, right? So, like, my thing is, you know what I'm saying? Like, as we move into the future and as technology starts to, like, mirror more, quote unquote, mythicism, we got to ask these questions. We have to ask these questions. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said people just need a struggle. I agree. I agree. And my thing is, no presentation of fact, no presentation of question, none of that, none of it matters. It doesn't matter. We could sit here and show material facts all day long. It doesn't matter. It only matters in two instances. It only matters if particular people say it, and it only matters if it's something that universally makes people feel good. Other than that, all other information is scrap. It's all scrap. Even if, like, people on YouTube that try to act like they're not biased, they're biased. I'll tell you if I'm biased about something. I'm biased about Bitcoin. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm bullish on crypto. I'm biased. I'll be the first person to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Some people would say, like, I'm just doing the news. I'm not just doing the news. I'm talking about cryptocurrency because I'm biased. I believe in cryptocurrency. I like Bitcoin. I think it's a great idea. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people can't admit the biases. I don't understand. Like, to me, I don't understand why so many conservatives have. I believe the only reason why many conservatives have gravitated to Bitcoin is because Trump flip-flopped on Bitcoin. Trump was one of the people that said that Bitcoin was a scam. You know what I'm saying? Then he switched. Then he changed. Now it's not. Now I'm about to invest in it. And because I'm about to invest in it, you should too. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. I don't understand why people don't go through these levels of analysis and ask these particular questions. I do understand. But it would just be nice if people were honest. But we're never going to get that honesty. That's one of the things I don't mind that about artificial intelligence. You know what I'm saying? But here go my question. Like, people just declare things are the devil, or I'm just going to declare that this is a demon. How do you do that? How do you do it? Let me ask you guys this question. When people actually talk about God, who is God? Who is God? Because it's two. Actually, it's a couple gods. And I'm even talking about in the Abrahamic religions. I'm talking about in Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Judaism and Islam. All throughout the Bible, Who is described as the quote unquote God of earth? Who is described as the quote unquote ruler of earth? Is it the God that people call Jehovah or Yahweh or Allah, or is it somebody else? Who is it? Who rules this planet? What they say. What they say. Who is the true ruler of this planet according to the Bible? Shout out to Patrick Tyler. Patrick says, especially ninjas. I've heard black people say something is the devil, like our favorite cryptocurrency. I mean, and again, like, where's the evidence of it? Yeah, shout out to Patrick. The devil, the alleged Satan, is the ruler, and he's acknowledged as the ruler of this world. In the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. How's that work? It's just weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just weird. And people let this stuff fly. You know what I'm saying? 1 minute, I want y'all to understand. Look, 1 minute, if you talk about the church, people talk about getting brainwashed and all of this, and then the next minute, people talking about the Most High. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Now, again, this is no offense to people who are religious, who honestly practice religion and honestly question the questions that religion comes with, right? But this is for the masses, though. This is for the masses. So now, shout out to Patrick. Patrick says, yeah, I learned Satan is the ruler as a kid. My mom used to have Bible study at the house. So now, this is my question, right? What is the implications if you know, let's just play the what if game. We play the watcher, right? What if Satan is the ruler of the world? The Bible says it. You know that, and everybody always refers to the Bible says it, right? So when the Bible says some wild shit that everybody might not be on board with, what happens then? Okay, the Bible said it. The Bible said Satan is the world's ruler. Now what? How does anybody get around that? You know what I'm saying? And then people just declare, I'm just gonna declare this is demonic. I'm just gonna declare this is I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, from where? What standards are people using? It's no standard. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna say it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So now again, that brings it back to the question that we gotta ask of the quote unquote cashless society, right? How can the Bible define a framework for a cashless society when there's no trace of cash discussed in the Bible at all? Like, this isn't a change. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said Bitcoin never hurt anyone. Facts. Let me ask you this. Like, you shouldn't even have to go through this. How would a person, a human, be able to tell the difference whether something was quote unquote God or whether something was quote unquote not God? How would anybody be able to tell the difference? How do you know something? How do you know something? It's a difference. How do you know it's a ghost? How do you know it's a demon? How do you know? How do you know any of this? What's the difference? If an entity came down right now, how would you know if it was a demon or an angel? How would anybody know? Shout out to Windless and Rug. Windless and Rug said MF should be used to living with demons. Yeah, a lot of people got kids by demons. And they're not Nephilim, you know what I'm saying? They're human children. You know, they're just saying. You know what I'm saying? Right? But how would anybody know? How would somebody tell the difference? This is what I'm saying. Like, these are like people are making life-changing decisions or life-altering decisions using like this kind of thought process. Nothing has changed from like the 1500. Like nothing has changed. Y'all remember like people would talk about like, you know, like gravity is the devil, and you know what I'm saying, like people that come up with advanced theories about outer space and stuff like that, we're gonna burn them at the stake. Nothing has changed. None of that stuff turned out to be the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like Newtonian physics, spoiler alert, wasn't the devil. You know what I'm saying? Gravity, spoiler alert, not the devil. Out of everything that all past ignorant generations have said is the devil, what has turned out to be the devil? There's only one thing that we know that the devil is, right? And that's the alleged ruler of the world. So if it's not the ruler of the world, then how can it possibly be the devil? Because by the Christian Bible says that the devil, Satan, is the ruler of the world. So anything that you're producing, if you haven't produced a world ruler, how is it the devil? It's the devil. It's Satan. It's a demon. What demon? Who is it? What is it? Even the people that like do the exorcists, like the exorcism and stuff like that, even them, right? The key to doing that stuff is you got to be able to identify the demon and know the name. Okay, who are these demons? What are these? What do I call the chip? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick. Patrick says, I don't believe a real demon, if they exist, will come to you in a scary form. Listen, what's the difference between a demon and an angel? I'm not trying to be funny, man, but the most scary thing, if you ask me, the most scary thing in the Bible is God. It's the most scary thing. The God that everybody worships is the most scary thing. The God that everyone worships has done the most scary events in the Bible. How many times has God in the Bible, Infinity Gauntlet, snapped humanity out of existence? How many times did that happen? How many times has anybody else done that? Any other entity? You know what I'm saying? Don't worship Baal. Okay. I'm not familiar with what Baal has done. You know what I'm saying? Don't worship a golden calf. I don't know what the golden calf has ever did. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of firstborns got slaughtered. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, you know, it was a flood. You know what I'm saying? Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't nice, right? You know what I'm saying? The Tower of Babel, kind of scary. I don't think, you know what I'm saying, like in the Bible, you know what I'm saying, like Satan or the devil, I don't think it really was doing no resurrecting or making the dead walk or anything like that either. I think that was all done by somebody else. That's kind of scary. Right? Now, again, that's not saying anything is good or bad, right? Because me, as a human being, judging, quote unquote, what's good or bad or what's evil or not evil, that's outside of my pay grade, man. That's outside my qualifications. That's outside my scope of practice, man. I can't do that. I'm saying that's outside my scope of practice, man. I can't do that. But I'm just saying, though, if we look at things that we commonly call scary all throughout the Bible, who's done the scary shit? That's the question. Who's done the scary shit? I think that when it comes to like that kind of stuff, I think that people should take reality for reality and possibly maybe try to have a clearer and less self-induced, complicated understanding of what it is that they're actually reading. It doesn't say anything in the Bible about, Bitcoin or digital currency being evil. There's no such thing. Nothing was digital in the Bible days. There's nothing digital. So how can a digital currency it's evil? Like, come on, didn't even exist. People say that swear words, what I'm saying, like, what I mean? Like, you say a bad word, you say SHIT or FUCK. Those words didn't even exist. What I'm saying? Like, the Bible was written in what? Greek and Aramaic, if I'm not mistaken. What? What I'm saying? Like, them words didn't even exist. They didn't even exist. Why is this such a thing? Then you start getting into the AI questions. Right? You start getting into the strange realm of AI questions. How do you eliminate death? How do you eliminate death? See? Now, shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, I asked this pastor about that curse words, and he said, even though they didn't exist, it's the meaning. And what is the meaning? Right? Like, what is the meaning? But like, this is my question though, for real. Somebody help me out. How do you eliminate death? It's easy. Very simple. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how to eliminate death. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said they making up the rules as they go. They really are. And the reason why these rules have been allowed to be made up is because they've snuffed out any element of being able to question any of this stuff. Now, shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, I guess the intent behind the words he was trying to say. And then he said, it isn't the Bible. It isn't in the Bible where it shows about being. Yeah, look, so check this out, right? Say, for instance, you smash your hand in the door, and instead of saying like, oh, SHIT or oh, FUCK, you'd be like, So because you actually like intended on saying something bad and you just didn't say it. This is what I'm saying. So like now there's this instance of preeminent judgment because of intent. And the thing is that in the Bible, it says that the preeminent, like you are judged on preeminent intent. So like, say for instance, you get so mad, you say you about to delete somebody. By Bible standards, you've already deleted that person. You already guilty. You know what I'm saying? you already guilty because you thought it. So what purpose does action have in a world where preeminent judgment is the law of the land? You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. Think about that. Preeminent judgment is the law of the land. You thought about it, you're guilty. They say the same thing. If a man in his mind is lusting over a woman that's not his wife, you're guilty of cheating. I mean, what at that point you got to ask two questions. Okay, well, if I'm going to be judged because I happen to look to the left and I saw some woman that had everything together the way that I like it, and I had no idea she was going to be right there. I mean, according to the preeminent judgment standard, I may as well see what I can do with that. Like, where's the motivation for restraint and for choice? Where's the motivation for having those things? You're just guilty. You're guilty off rip. And I'm making it in my mind of how I view the world, that makes very little sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference? Think about this. So that what that basically means is that every temptation is automatically a sin. Because if you get a temptation is supposed to be something that makes you, kind of think about actually going against some set of values, right? So, like, you get tempted, then you think about it and you analyze it, and you either say, yes, I'm gonna go through with this, or no, I'm not gonna do it. But the fact that you thought about it, you already guilty. You did it. I'm thinking about robbing this person. I'm not gonna do it though. You may as well just go according to the, you know what I'm saying, according to how the preeminent judgment standard works. If you thought about it, you've already done it. It literally says this. So that means that everybody is guilty of everything, and there's no possible way anybody's going anywhere. We all stuck here. No one's, like, according to no one's getting eternal life. Like, none of that. What is anybody even fighting for? Don't nothing matter at this point, because we're all guilty of everything. If anything outside of the course of normalcy has ever crossed your brainwaves, it's a wrap. You did it. Even though you didn't do it, you did it. So how are you if Armageddon and the apocalypse and Judgment Day and all that is true, how are you ever going to get anywhere with that on your Judgment Day rap sheet? How's that going to work? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, on 4/12 at 3:35 a.m., you know what I'm saying? Like, you happen to be looking at this picture and you was thinking about doing some things to this woman that you shouldn't have done. Okay, but I didn't do it though. Yeah, but you thought about it, so you're guilty. None of this makes sense. And people are just okay with it. And people are just okay with it. Don't ask any questions about it. Don't ask questions. Because questions are evil. What is evil? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, conservative McDonald's shareholders wanted the fast food chain to consider buying Bitcoin. But according to a filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the company doesn't have any interest in discussing such a proposal. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. How many people believe that 1% of a Bitcoin is more Bitcoin than some companies will have in the future? Do you all, if you guys believe that, if you feel that way, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't feel that way, then give me a thumbs down. Do you think that 1% of a Bitcoin is more Bitcoin than some companies will have in the future? Let me know. McDonald's is widely considered, including by former CFO and president Harry Sunborn, a real estate company that happens to sell hamburgers, the National Center for Public Policy said in its proposal letter. Real estate has been a much more reliable store of value than cash and bonds, but won't appreciate over time nearly as much as Bitcoin will, and it's not liquid like Bitcoin is. As more and more companies add Bitcoin to their balance sheets, if McDonald's doesn't follow suit, it will fall behind where it once led. Now, this is a very interesting paragraph. What does this paragraph mean? And here's my question. Is this going to become a popular paragraph? These warnings of falling behind are out here all over the place. They're all over the place. This is not the first time that a corporation has been asked by its shareholders to begin acquiring Bitcoin. Michael Saylor's tech company strategy made the stockpiling of Bitcoin fashionable, as its constant buying of the digital asset and the appreciating value of the cryptocurrency has caused the company's treasury to grow substantially. While recently the video game retailer GameStop said it had raised $1.5 billion to buy Bitcoin last December, Microsoft shareholders voted against such a move. Now, again, what is going to happen to all of these companies that are not buying Bitcoin? Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, off topic, I'm driving back home from out of town and I'm sleepy as shit. Well, be careful, bro. Don't get into no accident. You know what I'm saying? Do not get into an accident. So, yeah, this is interesting. McDonald's shareholders are asking McDonald's to buy Bitcoin. All of these S&P 500 companies are going to start buying Bitcoin. Again, what is this going to do to the price? 1 in 4 firms will hold Bitcoin by 2030. Treasury managers would feel pressured to try a Bitcoin strategy for fear of repercussions if they missed out on potential gains. Can you imagine when these people that have millions and billions of dollars start to FOMO? Like, I want you guys to understand. Do you understand how high institutional FOMO will drive the Bitcoin price? Can you imagine? Can you imagine how high institutional FOMO is going to drive the Bitcoin price? It's wild. It's a wild thing to think about. You know what I'm saying? Around a quarter of firms listed on the S&P 500 would have invested in Bitcoin by 2030, with the treasury managers fearing they could lose their jobs if they missed out on potential Bitcoin gains, a partner at a tech-focused financial advisory firm said. How many financial advisors do you guys think are going to lose their jobs as a result of not investing in Bitcoin? I remember when people were worried about mentioning Bitcoin possibly being the reason that they lost their job. And now not investing in Bitcoin could possibly be the reason why people lose their job. Things have changed, haven't they? They've changed a lot. I anticipate that by 2030, a quarter of the S&P 500 will have Bitcoin somewhere on their balance sheets as a long-term asset. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. How many of you all will still be here in 2030? Shout out to Jay Bird. This is the best. This is the best healthcare advice ever. Jay Bird said, "Caffeine and a black and mild will get you right." Patrick, facts. Yeah, I gotta agree. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. At this rate, very few, if they're smart. Facts. Now, if you're gonna be here in 2030, throw some flames in the chat. But I want you guys to conceptualize price movement. If how much money is that going to add to the Bitcoin market cap if 25% of S&P 500 companies put Bitcoin on their balance sheet? what kind of liquidity infusion is that going to put into Bitcoin? What price is that going to drive Bitcoin to? You know what I'm saying? Elliot Chun, a partner at Architect Partners, said in a March 28th blog post. Chun said this shift will be driven by treasury managers feeling compelled to at least experiment with Bitcoin. So, I mean, again, this right here, this is more evidence of adoption. This is more evidence of use case, right? If you tried it and it worked, you're a genius. If you tried it and it didn't work, at least you tried. But if you didn't try and have no good reason, your job might be at risk. So now, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're now at a point in history where buying Bitcoin, you know what I'm saying? If you don't buy Bitcoin, you might not be employed. Yeah, I gotta agree. If you guys agree with Carlton's price prediction, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Carlton said probably between 500K and 1 million. Yeah. MicroStrategies is the largest corporate Bitcoin holder of all 89 public traded firms that currently have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, according to data from BitcoinTreasuries.net. One more firm could be added to the list after GameStop's $1.3 billion convertible notes offering on March 26th, which the firm intends to use to buy its first batch of Bitcoin. Now, again, right, because we need to start talking about the supply crunch, right? And we need to start talking about Satoshi's going to $1 million, right? Now, these people like GameStop, McDonald's, they're not going to be buying Bitcoin like how we do. They're going to be buying Bitcoin like how we buy crow with knife. They're going to be buying Bitcoin like how we buy capybara. So how many Bitcoin are left? If you have all of these companies, institutional FOMO, iFOMO, right? When they start iFOMOing into Bitcoin, not only is that going to drive the price way up, one of the reasons why it's going to drive the price way up and quickly is because as they start buying, I'm going to buy 50,000 Bitcoin here. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to buy 100,000 Bitcoin there. All the ETFs want the Bitcoin. How much Bitcoin is going to be left? How much Bitcoin is going to be left after that? How many people have heard about this company? There's a company, and they claim that this company is going to be the quote-unquote MicroStrategies of Solana. Anybody heard about that company? There was an article that CNBC posted. Some of these companies got Solana treasuries. Okay. Some of these companies got Solana treasuries. Now, my question, as far as these Solana treasuries go, is that strategy going to be as effective as the Bitcoin treasury strategy? That's my question for you guys. What's the Solana magic number? So now here it says Tesla and Block are the only S&P 500 listed firms that hold Bitcoin, meaning at least another 123 S&P 500 firms would need to invest in Bitcoin by 2030 for Chun's prediction to be correct. Now, look, shout out to Carlton, right? Because Carlton called it in the comment section. Tech investors and execs expect Bitcoin to keep rising. Okay. A lot of different reasons why you could justify assuming that Bitcoin is going to keep rising, right? Bitcoin could soar to the 500,000 to 1 million range or even higher by 2030, okay? According to the likes of ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood, Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz, and Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, and Block CEO Jack Dorsey. Now, you guys remember Jack Dorsey, he used to be the Twitter CEO, right? Meanwhile, firms adopting Bitcoin treasury strategies have seen a positive impact on their share prices. Strategy stock has surged over 2,000% since its first Bitcoin investment on August 20th of 2020, massively outperforming Bitcoin 781.1% and the S&P 500 64.8% over that stretch. So this is since 2020. So again, like, I want people to understand, like, if investing in Bitcoin did that for MicroStrategy's wealth, their worth, what could that possibly do for your worth or for your wealth? And mind you, they had the Bitcoin for 5 years. They held it for 5 years. And that's what they got. Shout out to everybody watching. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. But there's a big difference between firms that adopt Bitcoin for treasury diversification and risk management and those that restructure their entire business models to become the Bitcoin treasury leader within their industries, Chun said. Companies who are implementing this strategy in hopes of replacing MicroStrategy's performance are positioning for disappointment, said Chun, who referred to strategy as a one of one. And I would agree. I would agree. MicroStrategies initially provided U.S. asset managers exposure to Bitcoin at a time when they couldn't hold Bitcoin directly. That changed when the Securities and Exchange Commission approved a handful of spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund applications on January 10th of 2024. Despite the increased adoption, Bitcoin used as a treasury asset remains an unproven strategy for firms hoping it will hedge against the U.S. dollar and fiat inflation or diversity their treasury for risk management purposes, Chun said. And I wouldn't say that this is unproven. I wouldn't say that. I would say that Bitcoin keeping pace with the volatility and even actually being less volatile than the S&P 500 right now, I think that kind of proves Bitcoin's case. You know what I'm saying? I think it kind of proves Bitcoin's case. That said, Bitcoin is still more flexible of a treasury asset than gold, according to Chun, who pointed out the challenges in storing and moving gold bars. On the other hand, Bitcoin is a digital commodity that is GAAP recognized as a tangible asset with fungible and liquid profile, he added. Earlier this month, crypto asset manager Bitwise launched Bitwise Bitcoin Standard Corporation ETF, which seeks to track companies with at least 1,000 Bitcoin in their corporate treasuries. Okay? Companies with at least 1,000 Bitcoin. So the standard is 1,000 Bitcoin right now for these companies. And people still, you know what I'm saying? They still think it's a game. They still think it's a game. So there's some more stuff that we need to talk about. We got to talk about the Bitcoin in comparison to the US dollar and what's going on with the US dollar. And we got to talk about fusion energy. All right. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to go live tomorrow at the usual time. Well, what's the usual time? Y'all know what the usual time is. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to the stream sponsors. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Janesta. Make sure y'all show Janesta some love. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Definitely appreciate you, Brooklyn Queen. Shout out to my man, John Guillory. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to AW1. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Shout out to my man, Win Loser Rug. I appreciate you. Shout out to my man, Patrick. Make sure you drive safe, bro. And shout out to Alonda. Appreciate it as always. And ladies and gentlemen, I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Run for it, run. Yeah, hey, okay, I'm fresh up out the package. Sign my deal, I pay my dues. Affiliated to this paper, I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life design up like fine art. I'm jumping off just an unfamiliar coordinate. Topped off the porch like I could touch the sky. Red, it's not one trip. The ism talk the water out your faucet. Look at me flossing, I'm so wavy, I could change the tide. My intuition sense the hatred in your ways. You imitated, forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Game recognized game. I'm from the Bay, okay, I'm versatile and my slang is different. I'm lazy.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Dealing with the cast iron, better run for it. Run before I catch you. Niggas out ball it, block it. Trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life. Don't bet it, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing. You do best not to test it. Yeah, you're right. Real all in my blood supply. Dig it ball up top, finna make a play. I cast a lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. I said it twice and I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. You know, co-signer, no co-pilot. They pip-tiles, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign.
Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.